All right, hello everybody. KVUE Chief Meteorologist Hunter Williams here with you on this Thursday evening. It has been a very nice but very warm day here in Central Texas, and look, I'll just get right into it. I'm not tracking any major changes over the next week, probably 7 to 10 days. We have a little bit of a drop in temperature for tomorrow into Saturday, but generally it's going to be mid 80s to low 90s and dry weather for the next week plus here in Central Texas. All right, the numbers today: 90 degrees was the high for Camp Mabry. 89 was the high today at the airport, slightly cooler. Honestly, these numbers, I would say, underperformed a little bit today, which is just fine with me. Normal for this time of the year, 79. 94 was the record today. We didn't get that hot. All right, this graphic is back. I think a lot of people probably dread this one, including me. We dust it off every year around this time. Today was our 7th 90-degree day so far of 2025, which is pretty remarkable. At this time in 2024, we'd only had one single 90-degree day. I made this promise on TV. I'm going to do my very best to ignore this column for a little while longer. Hopefully we're not talking triple digits here for at least another month or two. Of course, we'll see how things go. All right, allergy count today, a little bit better than yesterday, but obviously still problematic. Oak is high today, 330 grains per cubic meter. Grass is high. Ash is also high. Cedar and mold are in the medium count. You can find this each and every day on our KVUE app and on KVUE.com. Current numbers, as we record this, it is 7:03 on this Thursday evening. It's 86 in Austin. It's 91 in Bastrop. It's 90 in Burnet, as well as Llano. And you can see here we've got this little wind shift. So we had kind of an initial boundary come in early this afternoon, and then now we've got a cold front basically, which is catching up to that. So that's in the process of moving through for the rest of this evening into tonight. Man, look at some of these numbers down along the border. Del Rio, it is 98 degrees right now. So it is going to be slightly cooler behind this front. You can see it's 87 in San Angelo, it's 81 in Dallas, it's 72 in Amarillo. This time of the year, we're not going to get a huge temperature drop, but again, this will drop us a few degrees for the day tomorrow. Tonight it will be a clear sky, maybe a little bit of patchy fog, although I think the latest model updates probably have the right idea on this, staying just south and southeast of Fayette County, but keep an eye on it. 50s and low 60s heading out the door tomorrow morning. Then as we go into the afternoon, warm, yes. Several degrees warmer than average, yes. But again, it's just going to be a little bit of an improvement relative to where we were at today, at least if you are not a hot weather fan. 90 in Kingsland still, 88 in Johnson City, Llano 89. In fact, these numbers for tomorrow have actually trended upwards a little bit. I'll say 86 degrees in Austin, 87 in Round Rock, Pflugerville 87, 90 or so for Lockhart as well as Luling. Then as you go to the coastal plains, 89 in Schulenburg, Flatonia 89. I have 88 degrees in the forecast for Bastrop tomorrow. All right, here's the plan over the next 5 days. So as we go into the weekend, Saturday still looks really nice, 87 degrees, warm, but nothing too crazy. And then by Sunday, that south wind starts to pick up again. So it'll jump up to 91, 92 degrees in the forecast on Monday. And basically what we'll do is we'll just repeat the process of what we had today. Another weak, dry, cold front's going to come through. That will drop us back down to 86, and then we'll just do that again as we get into the middle and the end of next week. Okay, so I want to take some time, talk about drought, just kind of the bigger picture rainfall situation. I've got some numbers I want to show you. Here's the drought update we got today from the CPC, the Climate Prediction Center. This does factor in the rain that fell last week. I know in Austin it was very little, but in parts of the hill country, especially Gillespie County, it was 2 inches plus of rain. Unfortunately, even factoring that in, it was not enough to make a dent. We still have extreme and top level exceptional drought for all areas along and west of I-35. Now, as we go through April and especially into May and June, this is kind of a make or break point for how our forecast is going to go through the rest of this summer. We need to catch up on some rain here. April, not terribly wet, but about 2.42 inches of rain. These are the average totals for the entire month. May, that's our wettest month by far, easily, of the year. On average, we get 5.04 inches of rain, and then even into June, especially early June, we rely on some rain. And as we go into June, we kind of kick off the hurricane season and we start to watch the Gulf. Obviously, that's a little bit of a player in our rainfall forecast as well. So you add all that up, total average rain for April, May, and June combined is 11.14 inches. So that's a lot of rain. But it begs the question, given our drought situation, how much rain would we need for there to be just no drought? It's quite a bit. So in terms of a 3-month rainfall total, to completely end the drought, we would need a pretty widespread, roughly 22 inches of rain. So we would basically need to double what is normal as we go through this spring. I'm not saying it's impossible. Look, Central Texas weather is definitely crazy, but, in short, we need some sort of pretty significant flooding event to get us completely caught up here before we get into the summer. And if we go into the summer already with drought issues and water issues, then that's likely only going to get exacerbated as we go into what would likely be pretty hot weather for June, July into August. All right, tonight. Clear sky will drop down to 61 degrees or so. It will be a pleasant night, 50s for many areas outside of the city. Tomorrow, sunny and we'll say slightly cooler, using that term loosely. 86 degrees for the afternoon high tomorrow. Here's my 7-day forecast. So again, this is like Groundhog's Day. We're just kind of looping the same process here. So we'll drop into the mid 80s for a couple of days. Sunday into Monday, as we wait on our next dry weak front to get here, we'll spike into the low 90s. I think the warmest is going to be Monday, about 92. Then that weak dry front comes through. We'll drop to the mid 80s again for Tuesday into Wednesday. And then Thursday, we're probably waiting on another system. So we'll go back to the low 90s. So we're starting to kind of notch a lot of these 90-degree days. No triple digits in sight just yet, but also no rain in sight just yet. In fact, one other thing I want to show you before I drop off here. I thought I had this graphic selected. Give me 1 second. We'll get this queued up for you. Here's our 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook. A couple days ago, it looked like the middle into the end of next week that maybe we could have some sort of at least small rain chance. Unfortunately, it no longer looks like that's going to be the case. This is April 16th through the 20th, and unfortunately, drier than normal weather is now favored. Not what we want to hear. Anyways, that's what we're tracking on the forecast. It's pretty quiet. Again, 80s, low 90s, no major chance for rain. We'll keep our fingers crossed as we get into the back half of April and especially heading into May. Y'all have a good rest of your evening. Next update from me will be about 3 hours from now. KVUE News at 10 o'clock, which you can watch right here on KVUE Plus, or you can turn us on TV, obviously the ABC affiliate here in Austin, Texas. Y'all have a good night. I'll talk to you at 10.